Last week, a Chinese OpenAI competitor launched a new model called Deepseek R1. And arguably, this is better than OpenAI's O1 on all the coding benchmarks. Not just that, it can also access the internet. And the best part is, this works at a fraction of cost of O1. It is 96.4% cheaper than OpenAI's O1. O1 costs $60 for per million tokens, while R1 only costs 2.19 per million tokens. So this is fractionally cheaper, plus it also has internet access. It is clearly the best alternative for anyone who is trying to use O1 for their apps. I've been playing around with this model for the last 4 days. I've noticed that there are some things that make this model work even better. In this video, I would be showing you the exact process that I follow while building apps using Cursor and Deepseek R1. And again, all of it without writing a single line of code. So let's get into it. Next up, I will open up a new window in Cursor. I will open a new folder. Within my projects directory, I will create a new folder. I will call it SaaS with Deepseek. And within this folder, I will add a new file. I will call it .cursor rules. So these are rules that we can give to change the behavior of the model that we are using with Cursor. Over here, I will paste the rules that I've been using with Cursor that are getting good results. One thing you will notice is that this is in XML format. So because XML works better with DeepSeek when you compare it with the other models like Anthropic. This is something that I got to know from CJ's video. So if you are not following him, you can check him out. He posts awesome content around coding with AI. So I will add my entire prompt over here. So this is basically to guide the R1 model in the right direction. This has nothing to do with the project that we would be creating. Next, I will go to Cursor settings and I will change my model to R1. So I will select Deepseek R1 over here, and while coding, I will select this model itself. Make sure that you have selected this model in the settings. Then it would be available in the chat. So if I go to my chat, if I go on this toggle, I will see that Deepseek R1 is available here. Awesome. For this video, you would be creating an AI travel planner. And before getting to start coding in Cursor, I would be creating a PRD or a product requirements document. If you would have seen my previous videos, you would have noticed that I create PRDs when I'm creating a new project that just helps AI, that helps guide AI in the right direction. Do check out this other video on my channel if you are interested in using documentation while coding with AI. So I will get my prompt here. So in this document that you can get from the description, there is this prompt that I would be using. So I will just copy this prompt. I will select the R1 model here because R1 is equivalent of O1 and it is good with creating PRDs. So if you would go through the prompt here, I have mentioned that I want to create an AI travel planner. Then I've mentioned the steps for creating the PRD, things like a final file structure and making sure that PRD is clear, a step-by-step breakdown of the implementation. I mentioned the tech stack that we would be using, a Next.js 14 framework, and then apart from that, DeepSeek's API. Then I've mentioned the details of the AI travel planner app. So I will just mention this here, details about the app. It lets you input the place you're traveling to, dates of travel, what kind of mood they are in, and then give them a travel plan for the trip. This is generated by DeepSeek API. I will also go to DeepSeek's website and I will copy their own documentation. So I will go to their website, I will select Node.js over here because we are using Next.js, and I will copy this entire thing from here and I will paste it here so that it has context on how to use this API. Then I will just input this. But another thing that is very different with the DeepSeek is that when you are using the deep thinking model, which is the Deepseek R1, you get very, very detailed steps on what it is thinking. So it will tell you that it is thinking about the edge cases, the testing plan. Although ChatGPT also shows you, but it is nowhere close to being as detailed. So if you are a beginner who is just learning how to code, then you get a lot of context on how this model is thinking, how you can also build things like that. So that's great. I see that it has already started generating the API. I see that it has already started generating the PRD. So it has the final file structure. Then it also has the API root implementation, edge case handling. Okay, so I will just copy this from here. I will also check if it has mentioned the steps. So it has mentioned the steps, step 1, step 2, step. Okay, so all these steps seems to be there. I will create a new folder. I will call it prd.md, and within this folder I will paste the result that I got. I will remove the parts that are not necessary. So I will remove the security checklist, the deployment part. I will remove the appendix as well. So we have the PRD. Let's start implementing this. So I will just come up here. I will ask it to go through the PRD, and execute step 4.1. So I've selected the Deepseek R1 model here. One difference definitely you will see over here is that it is much more verbal. So there is this entire thinking that it does. Then it started generating the code, but it did not do the first step itself right now, which was installing Next.js. So let's wait until it does that. I see that it has directly started creating the repository. Let's mention it here. Please follow all these steps. Phase 1 needs to be done first. So it has started giving us the commands that we need for installing the repo. I will just run this command. So when I run this command, it directly comes up in my terminal window. It asks me certain things. So it want to ask me that if we want to proceed, then it wants a name for the project. I will just mention AI travel planner here. Yes, we want to use ESLint, Tailwind CSS, source directory, app router, not the turbo pack, not the import alias. So now we have the new repository over here. We would be creating the rest of the app inside this repo. It's still installing the files, and I will reject the files that it created before this step. So now that I'm within this repository, I will also install the rest of the requirements, which is Zord and OpenAI. So I see that it has started generating all the files that are required for a project. So it has created a API root. Then it is creating validation schemas and other components that are required. So let's wait up a minute while it's generating it. And meanwhile, let's go to our Deepseek platform to get our API keys. So I've already topped up a little balance in my account. I will just go to API keys and I will create a new API key here. I will be creating this for the AI travel planner that we are using. I will just pause the recording here so that I can just copy my API key from here without disclosing it. So I see that it has created a bunch of files over here, basically based on the PRD. Before moving on to the phase 2, I will just mark step 1 to be done in the PRD. And let's move to step 2 now. So it says that it has done the entire phase 2 implementation, which was creating the front end for us. So now that all of the front end is generated, let's try running it. So it has also gave us the command that we need for running this on our system. I will just copy this command and I will run this in terminal. So our server is now running. So I see that there is this error while running this. I will just copy this error and I will paste it here. Please fix the error. And after fixing the error, this seems to be working. I can mention where I want to go. I can select a start date and end date. And I can put up a travel mood, adventure, relaxation, or cultural. So this looks well. Our front end seems to be working fine. Now let's move on to the next step, which is creating a backend. So I will open up a new composer window and I will mark step 2 as done. And let's move to step 3 now. In the new composer window, I will mention that we want to do step 3. And I will send this command. So it wants us to run a command in terminal. So I will open up a new terminal window here. I will change my directory to the travel planner directory. And then let's create this new file that it wants us to create. So this is basically for running the DeepSeek model. So let's do it. The API key that we generated from DeepSeek, I will just paste my API key in the chat here. I will pause the video here since I don't want to expose the key. So I've added my API key to the .env file, or basically the local system where it would be saving your API key. I just gave it to the DeepSeek chat and it did it. So you don't have to add it yourself. You can just drop it in the chat and it will add it to the respective file itself. Now let's check if our backend is working fine. It gave us a curl command to see that if it's working fine. Let's try running this. And we got an error while doing it. I will just copy this error and I will paste it here. I got this error while running the curl command. So it has made some changes in the code. Let's try running this command again. And this time we got a detailed log of what the error is. Again, the travel plan was not generated, but at least we got a better error logging. So that's a step forward. Let's add this here. Got this error now. Please fix at once. So it seems that it has fixed that error of formatting the response. So let's try running this again. I will select the city to be England. I will select the date. I will select the date to be 30th to 5th of February. I will select the mode to be cultural, and let's see if it can generate a travel plan. I like the loading animation over here. It looks slick. So let's wait for the traveling plan to come up. I think it's calling the DeepSeek API on the backend, and then once we got the response, it would be formatting it for anyone to view on the screen. So we got a travel plan for London. It mentions that, we stay at this hotel. I think thinking about it, maybe we should also mention the place where we would be staying at while getting this plan. That would make it much more customized. Then it tells you that you can travel to Tower of London on day 2. Then, rest of the plan. Well, this is what I was expecting. So this is how you can build an app using the DeepSeek API along with Cursor. This was the entire workflow. Do try this out and let me know what you build with it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.